Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of the Cheap Seats. So I need to say Happy New Year first up from all of us here at the Cheap Seats. We hope you have a really, really great 2024 and that your team has a great 2024. I'm glad 2023 is done. Arsenal had a horrible 2023. They entered into 2023 looking hot, and then for the last 12 months, it's just looked they've looked the shadow of their 2022 selves. So, hoping 2024 will look more like 2022, but we'll find out. But in the meantime, we're here to give you all the news that you need on the English Premiership and all the discussion that's happening. And since we last time we were on was before Christmas, before the holidays, we got a lot to talk about. And that's what we're here. So, but remember, we're sponsored by Classic Shirts ZA. So please go to their website. I'm actually going to put Dean up there so people can see the logo. Sorry, AB. Again, yeah, just playing with yes. Classic Shirts ZA, please go check them out. They've got some really, really cool gear. And speaking about the team that had a bad 2023, you can go get this kit, which I have. Look, you can remind yourself of 20 years ago of the team that did an incredible feat. We're the only Premier League team with a gold trophy. So even if people come and tell you how many Premier League trophies they have, you just ask them, do they have a gold trophy? And this kit reminds you of that. They haven't played well in it, but you can go to Classic Shirts ZA to get it going and get this shirt as well. Remember, you can use the discount code CheapSeats99 to let them know that we sent you. Dean, do you like, or you don't like this kit, but when we're playing Tottenham, what do you think? Just toilet paper.
It's better than that all white kit that you guys think you look like Real Madrid in and then got knocked around by. So
my only problem is it reminds me of Tottenham. That's the only issue that I have. I'm like, why are we going all white?
It was very weird seeing Arsenal in all white. I was going to say it just feels wrong.
It's like they say no more red. And I'm like, you could have gone for a black kit as
Any
well,
color.
right? And just
not white. Not white.
Yeah, it was a little weird watching Arsenal play Liverpool, and one team was wearing white, the other team was wearing purple. And the team that was sexually frustrated actually won that game, which is a problem. AB, how are you doing, my man?
I'm good, man. My team is undefeated in 2024. We haven't conceded a goal this year. Things are good. Things are good.
Notts County, right?
I mean, I don't know.
You're through to the FA Cup fourth round. Well, some of us are not there anymore.
Yeah,
so, trophies and trophies and trophies for everyone. But anyway, let's get going. This December, we then figured out something. It was the worst kept secret in football. Sir Jim Ratcliffe bought a minority stake in Manchester United, and he's now going to be, or his INEOS group is going to be in charge of the football operations at Manchester United. The question is, will the winds of change sweep at Manchester United or be much more of the same? But the first question for me to AB is, what's the first thing you want Sir Jim Ratcliffe to change in the football aspect of Manchester United?
Wow. I wish he could kick out the other board members, but he can't. Look, I think what I want from him is to change the way we recruit and we sign players. I feel like Erik ten Hag has way too much control as a manager right now. And he has signed players like Anthony, for example, for an exorbitant amount of money, contrary to what the scouts had valued him. And I feel like we keep rotating managers and sitting with deadwood in a team from old managers. So I just think we need to have a uniform sort of recruiting transfer strategy that a sort of head coach has adopted into rather than determining. I think it's going to be a huge change for someone like Erik ten Hag, and I don't see him lasting because someone's got to give here, and I don't think he will give because he has the veto sort of decision in his contract. So yeah, that's me. I don't think it's going to last for Eric. But I'm excited about Jim Ratcliffe. I think what I've read and what I've seen is good. Him and Sir Dave Brailsford have, well, Sir Dave has probably attended more games than the Glazers. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited about it.
Okay. So you're looking for a director of football and someone to fire ETH. Okay.
Well, he's going to get himself fired regardless, man. Man has not done well.
Yeah.
Has not done well.
Dean, when you read the news and you now finally, obviously it's happening, do you think United can get back to those heights of yesteryear where they were beating everybody, or it's going to be really tough for them to change it in this market?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's impossible for them to get back to sort of where they were. Maybe not back to where they were, because I think the likes of City and obviously Liverpool have sort of got 5-year head start now on top of United. But I think it would be good for the English game as a whole to see United kind of get back to what they used to be in terms of the sort of juggernauts that they were in English football. But it's a long road ahead. My biggest thing with this whole INEOS thing is like, how many other big football clubs has Sir Jim Ratcliffe been involved in? Like, how much actual knowledge does he have? And obviously he's going to bring around advisors, but you know, what kind of, everyone's saying, well, at least he's coming around and he's going to have, you know, some say in how the football club actually gets run on an operations point of view. But it also means that he needs to get people that know how to actually do that. I don't think him himself can run a football club. Obviously not with just the 25%, but you also have to look at what kind of knowledge he has and what he's bringing to the table, which I mean, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he's run a major football club before in his life. So it's still a long road. Whether we see Ten Hag last or not, there's another question. Like, I don't think so, just based on some of the way that United fans view him already. There's already such bad blood with him, and it's kind of, we'll have to wait and see. But I also don't think Ole is an answer, to be honest. I think it needs completely different kind of sort of direction at that football club to kind of get it to where it was. So it's a long road, very long road, but at least there's maybe 1 or 2 steps being taken in the right direction.
So AB, if Manchester United win the FA Cup, because it is very possible that you could, is that enough for Eric Ten Hag to keep his job beyond June?
I don't know. It's a really interesting question, because I think we're going to have a new ownership and director of football, recruitment specialist or head of recruiting sort of philosophy that's going to push down some interesting transfer strategies from the summer onwards. And I'm not sure Eric Ten Hag will buy into it. He said his talks have been positive and everything, but I just don't see him relinquishing that sort of control off. Even if we win the FA Cup, if we win the Premier League, what else are we in with? That's it. Eh? Those are the only 2 comps we're in. Wow.
Not even in Europa.
I don't see Ten Hag lasting till the end of his contract. It's just, I have this feeling. I just think because there's questions that have to be asked of the decisions that he's made, both on and off the field. So I don't know. I don't think he'll relinquish that sort of control to where a director of football would want, or a head of recruiting would want. That being said, maybe he changes spots, but I don't know. Yeah, look, just to come back to Dean's point. So like, so Jim has his own Nice, the team in the Farmers League. Yeah, but look, I don't think his experience there is sufficient to own Man United. That being said, we're starting at a really low base. We had previous owners and guys who knew nothing about football running the club. So anyone could do a better job than the Glazers and the Glazer puppets that we're in. So yeah, already there's talk of what's his name? Jeez, one of my heroes, and now I can't forget his name. Wow, this ex-CEO David Gill, like being more involved with the the team and the backroom staff, someone who knew the club extensively. So that's really positive. But at the same time, it's going to take a really, really long time to change what's happening at United. Will they get Kath gone from reception? That will probably be the biggest challenge, and I don't think that's
Poor Kath.
Guys, if he gets retrenched, that is going to be the biggest payoff in history, because
Yes.
that's
She's worked for over. Here's an
Years of
interesting one
service.
here's an interesting one for you guys. The Dallas Mavericks got sold. Mark Cuban sold the Dallas Mavericks, and then he sent an email to his former employees saying, "Thank you very much. Here's a $350 million bonus for all of you, and it'll be paid out based on years of service." So I was thinking about it. I was like, if they had a receptionist like Kath, she'd be walking out multi-millionaire. Yeah. So unfortunately for Kath, so Dave is not. Oh, so Jim's not gonna. Probably he might. Who knows? Come in with a little bonus for the United people. But I think for me, there's a lot to think about when it comes to United. Obviously, the first thing, if I was a United fan, that I want to do is get a director of football, and even if it's for the next 6 months, just to align, maybe even start working on what January might look like if you need to do sales, because essentially I think Ten Hag needs someone else to rein him in, right? For instance, you guys need a striker, or United needs a striker. So the question is, obviously everyone's talking about Eric Choupo-Moting, and I'm sitting there going, okay, is he gonna go on a loan? Are you gonna pay money for him? Look, he's not a bad striker. I'm not gonna fight it, but he's been in the Premier League before, and we know what happened.
But he played for Stoke, right? It was Stoke.
Yes.
It was Stoke.
But maybe that's the type of striker they need. Just a guy who's going to hold up play.
From Vegas to Choupo-Moting. Just
we had votes. Let's just get him back.
Look, Choupo-Moting's at Bayern right now. And he was also at PSG when he left Stoke. So, a little bit of a glow up. Yes. So I think for me that's where I'm sitting with Manchester United. Also, the other question obviously is how much say do they have in necessarily the training facilities? Can they upgrade Carrington? Can they also upgrade the stadium? Is the stadium part of football activities? Because it would go a long way to getting the Man United fans happy again. It's like what Daniel Levy has done, giving Ange some sort of a pseudo checkbook. And Ange has now been able to make it work with YouTube FC and finding guys like Mickey van der Ven and Vicario, who I think Paratici found. But yeah,
our criminal from jail.
Well, look, he set up a stellar team before he left. So
he's still advising apparently. But actually, I wanted to actually mention that because not the Paratici advising while he's banned, but there was an interesting video I saw with Rio Ferdinand, who interviewed Ange, and Ange said one of the big things for him with regards to transfers, and it linked quite nicely to the United things that I was seeing, is at that sort of professional level, obviously there's high quality and like higher quality, but at that kind of level of professional football, it's not massive differences between these players in terms of are you able to can you play football and can you do it well? Like the top guys are the top guys, but the big thing that he said was the defining factor was their character that will make a good player a great player, or a great player a mediocre player. And oftentimes that's why he'll say he phones all of the guys that we're about to sign, and if he gets that sort of feeling of this guy wants to come for the right reasons, he'll then say, okay, let's go. Or if they don't, he said, like in his career, he's backed away from transfers. And I think for me, something like that would really, or is really needed at a United, because the quality I think is there, but I think the characters that they've signed definitely in recent times, that's what's sort of led to the downfall, like the Sanchos and the Antonys, where it's almost like United come knocking, I'm now bigger than I have ever been, or the biggest, I am now like the star attraction, and kind of of course it gets to their heads, and then the sort of doesn't deliver on the pitch. And I think that for me, if it's not an easy thing to fix, but if United can try and focus on getting some of those bad characters, if you want to call them that, out of the room, and try and get some of the good characters, I know it's very sort of it's not black and white, but if you can try and focus on some of that coming into the future, it definitely sets you up. And that's what you can see with us at the moment. Like a Vicario, he'll be our goalkeeper for the next 10 years because of he's great, but he's also got a great, character. So I think that's what United need to sort of look at, kind of the recruiting.
Look, and Aaron Ramsdale's also available for Manchester United as well if they want a good character guy. Instead of Andre Onana. But I agree with you. And it's like going back to Sir Alex Ferguson stuff, right? And I think to a certain extent, that's where Moyes got it wrong, right? Moyes just thought, I'm in a bigger club, I need to bring in big name players, when it's just like, no, just find guys who can do the job. Like, look at Antonio Valencia, I look at Park Ji-sung, I look at Phil Jones. But Phil Jones at the time was really, really good.
Injury problem as well.
Yes, but they whenever whoever donned the Manchester United jersey like Federico Macheda had like probably the most insane 3 weeks of his life, largely because he realized he needed to work hard. And yeah, he did. And we know how Sir Alex does with prima donnas like Pogba, and so essentially,
but it's exactly that. They never thought like. Exactly on the Fergie team, I think about it. Like none of those players thought they were bigger than the club, and those are the players that are United legends and will be United legends forever. None of like you look Beckham's and Cantona's, all of them talk with still such admiration for the club. I don't see Anthony turning around in 10 years' time, with tears in his eyes, talking about Kathy from reception. Like that's not going to happen. So, so. That's why you need to get those. Like, obviously, you're not going to find the exact type of people.
Maybe
those are the characters
to phone these new players.
That's what they need.
Get a sense check as to whether she thinks that they're United players or not.
Just a transfer evaluator chat, and Kathy leads that, and she says yes or no to the transfer.
Because do you think Kathy would have said yes to Anthony?
No. She just had to phone his girlfriend, and then probably would have said no as well.
But this is the thing as well. Like how did a background check not find out about all that stuff? Like,
dude, surely a TransUnion report they run as well. There's something similar to these.
Oh my word! Like, and that's the whole thing. Like all these processes are just flawed, or there's a lack of a process. I'm just excited.
So Andre Onana lying, saying that he's no longer going to play for Cameroon, and then all of a sudden he's on the plane.
just a quick YouTube compilation of Andre Onana fails. Just in fact, that's the first thing. That's what Kat needs to do. Is she needs to say, okay, cool, we're going to sign Dean Battersby. So let's Dean Battersby fails, and just look. And if there's like 5 videos, then just no.
You should just say no.
Yeah,
there's only 3. Don't worry, there's only 3 videos, so it's fine.
Okay, so we found a new role for Kathy. She's not getting retrenched, unfortunately. Sorry, Kathy. Your payday is coming later. Okay, let's move on. Liverpool found their way, had an interesting Christmas, drew to Arsenal just before Christmas, and was second on the log. And then Arsenal decided to have the worst 10 days of football that we've probably seen to put them at the top of the log. Liverpool are currently leading. But there is that Grim Reaper, that stalking horse, that team that scares anybody, and they've done this for so many of the last 6 seasons. The Manchester City are going to come and make sure that it's a tough one. Have Liverpool learned? Do you think that they've learned, AB, from that COVID season when they won to stave off Manchester City, even though Kevin De Bruyne is back? Phil Foden's now giving us a Gundogan-esque-ish type of run with Manchester City. And obviously they've got games in hand, so you also have that little flavor to go, similar to what happened to Arsenal last year and previous Liverpool title charges. Can this be their year, or is Man City going to end up in May being champions?
I don't know. Look, I'm putting like a 90% shot on City. I don't see City slipping up. City have a better squad. I mean, they went on holiday for the last 8 weeks, and they're only like 2 points away, right? Yeah. Now there's not going to be a Salah. There's not going to be a Trent for Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
Darwin Núñez is hit and miss. I don't. And Liverpool for me are always like 2 or 3 injuries away from going back to 8th or 9th on the log, and having that sort of season. Like I don't know. I don't see it with this Liverpool team. I'm like even when we played them, like I wasn't afraid. Like I was afraid of catching like an 8 or 7 like we did, but I wasn't afraid of that Liverpool team. I just and they've got some tough games ahead. They've got Arsenal soon again. They've got Chelsea. They've got City in March. So like, and that's when City like really starts to go into like 4th and 5th gear is March, April. I just don't see it. I think the lead is too small for them, because it's not about them losing. It's about them just dropping points and drawing against a United. You can't draw to United at Anfield, that United team. They'll drop more points. I just don't see it happening. I think City are just too strong. They're getting right players back at the right time. Yeah, and who knows what they can do.
Dean, can City streak on this back 9 of the league? Are they that golfer who gets 3 pars in a row and everyone's gonna be like 3 birdies in a row and everyone looks at them going, "Oh snap, it's that Tiger wave again"? Are they at that level now? And with Kevin De Bruyne coming back, yeah, are they there? Can they do it?
Yeah, I think it's a good analysis there. City
Analogy.
there you go, analogy.
Yes, thanks, AB. We can
City
see who went to the here.
City are Tiger in 2001 is Tiger in 2001 on a Sunday. Like, you can never count them out. And even exactly to what AB said, like City have been under the radar and they're still 5 points behind with a game in hand. So give them a game in hand. That means they're 2 points behind. Like, they're in a better position than what happened last year, you know? So, and a KDB's coming back, Haaland's coming back, Foden's playing, you know, I think it's anyone who doesn't know football is written off City. I think that's kind of a litmus test that you can use at the moment with your mates to say, who do you think is going to win the league? And if you're not scared of City, you don't know, because they are just another class. So the bigger thing for me is they could slip up, but it seems like they recover from their slips a lot sort of more confidently, whereas like we've seen with Arsenal, they go on one slip and it seems to just kind of progress to like the next game and the next game and the next game. And Liverpool have got those slips in them as well, and maybe they kind of recover a little bit better. You know, there's games where they go down, like the Fulham game, and they score 2 goals in the 88th minute or whatever, or even against like a United where they draw 0-0, which you were expecting Liverpool to run rampant. So there are those slips, but I think City just recover from them just so much better. And you know, there's no doubting that it's just they've got so much quality. Like it's scary when you start looking at who they could add in even a winter transfer window, and you're saying, but there's literally no one that they need. There's 2 positions. They've got 2 men in every single position that would walk into every other team. And Liverpool, you look at left back, you know, they've Robertson's out, Tsimikas is out, so they need someone at left back. Trent's now out, so you know who they're going to play on the right. They've got Gomez probably, but the other teams are just kind of going through, and there's obviously these sort of peaks of hope that some of the teams have, but Liverpool are going to come close. But I do still think the way City are playing now, sad to say, but I just don't see it not happening.
And the thing is, for Liverpool, I feel is that they need Salah to be knocked out of AFCON like in the group stages, right?
He needs them to be knocked out when they do the flag bearing ceremony. They must be like, "Oh, Egypt's gone." Then Liverpool.
Yeah. So Cape Verde, Ghana, and what's the other team? Mozambique need to do a really, really big job in Ivory Coast in order to make sure that Liverpool's title charge go. Because that's my one big thing with them is that can they sustain it for enough for Salah to come back, and who can go on a run? And this is how I look at Arsenal as well. My question is, I'm okay with having these losses now, but can you go on a 10, 11, 12 match winning streak? And if you can do that, City are going to be looking at you going, they need to go on a streak. And I'm yet to see a team apart from that COVID team, but it was COVID. That Liverpool team that went on a run because they came up back from the recess and they just went on a run to try and take the title. You need that now because this is where City get hot, and you kind of need them to keep looking up at the table, going, but these guys are not going away. And the problem is with what's happened now with Liverpool and Arsenal is that they drop points to stupid teams, and that like City were like, we're playing badly, but we're 2 points away if we win our game in hand. And that game in hand is Brentford, which is something else. So like it's actually quite fascinating to see how this, and it's not going to be won with 95 points. That's the thing. It's probably going to be won by 89 points. And it's just, and then so for me, the only other question is, where does Liverpool need to work on in January to strengthen their squad for this charge? I'm thinking defense, but do they need another midfielder?
I still
Jordan
don't think
Henderson
Liverpool
wants to come back.
I still don't think Liverpool have a quality six. Like, I still think that position is lacking. Like,
but who can they get?
I know, but that's the thing. Like, who do you?
What about Onana? I know he's rumored to be going to Arsenal, but like he's in the market. Right?
I don't think he's a 6.
That's the thing. He's more like an 8. But
he's an 8.
They need that defensive midfielder, which that's why like you can't discredit that. And Klopp knows it. That's why they went for a Caicedo. That's why they went for a Lavia. Like, and Endo is the 6. But he's not the long-term 6, and he's not the sort of 6 that is going to take you from a challenger to a winner in this league. So I still think Liverpool need a DM, and I definitely think they need a left back now because they don't have anyone.
And they need a right back cover unless if they've got kids in the academy, which Klopp's comfortable to play. I like the Kwanzaa kid. I thought he.
I think he's pretty good.
Yeah.
So United have a huge wage problem. Yeah, we have a 6 available. Casemiro, take it. You can
watch Casemiro go to Liverpool and remind us that he actually can play football.
He could, like, honestly, if you had 60 million, 50 to 60 million.
60.
It's winter. Okay, 50.
20 max.
Loan.
He's got a long term. He's got a contract.
Loan with option to buy at 20.
No, we're not going to loan Casemiro. But I'm just saying, throw us 30 to 40 mil. I'm pretty sure INEOS will say, you know what, let's cut our losses and take it.
Oh, okay. That's what you. But I think the 6. I like Wataru Endo. I just don't think he's a 6, but he's not available now because he's with Japan. So
and that's the other thing that we haven't even. City aren't losing a single player this whole period now. They don't have anyone AFCON or Asia Cup.
Yeah, because Pep understands what the.
I know, but and that's the other thing. Like, they're not losing a single player, and people still like, oh no, we stand a chance. You don't stand a chance.
Well, if you look at Arsenal squad, it's Thomas Partey's injured.
It's only Partey.
Al-Neni and Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu is a huge one because he's done well, but Yuri and Timber's around. But let's actually talk about Arsenal right now because oh my word. Oh my word. XGFC. That's all I'm going to say.
Yo.
How can you create so many chances, dominate possession? Because this season, what Mikel Arteta's decided was, no, we're going to hold the ball. We're going to control the game. We're going to, put teams under pressure because they can't play without the ball. But then when they get into the box, we still try and be like peak Wenger ball, pass the ball into the box. And so that's the problem now. But I'm actually on the other side of this. I don't think they need a striker. I just think he needs to let them know that they can shoot on sight or give the front 4 the option to shoot on sight. Because the issue for me, and maybe the issue for me is that you're getting into the box, you're creating the chances. It's not like you're United who's not creating the chances. It's a different little situation. But Ian Wright said we need a killer. The only problem is we don't have money for a killer. So I don't know where we're going to find a killer from, but we need to find a killer because my only issue is you're creating the chances. I'm happy that they're getting the chances. It's just like, it's that guy. I'm going to use another golf analogy because I've been playing a lot of golf. It's the guy who gets a lot of greens in regulation, but 3 putts his way to bogey, or
36
gets
putts
on for
around,
eagle and 3 putts for par. That's what Arsenal is right now. But my issue is it's just someone telling them to just be a little bit more aggressive. Don't look for the extra pass. But against Liverpool, they actually weren't looking for the extra pass, and it just wasn't working. But Dean, I know you don't like this, but do they need a striker?
So I watched the game on Sunday, and everyone going into that game is obviously saying the same thing. Like, I think it's pretty clear Arsenal don't have that sort of killer threat at the moment, right? And everyone's talking about a 9. And there's sort of 2 things that we can discuss. The first one is the number 9 issue, and fine, like the name that everyone is throwing around is Ivan Toney, who is probably the best number 9 that's would be seen as available in the Premier League. But the problem is United need a 9, right? Chelsea
They're
need a
not going
9.
to go for Ivan Toney.
Chelsea need a 9.
Chelsea
Liverpool could need a 9, maybe if Darwin's keeps playing off the left. Like, you don't know. There's a lot of other teams out there that need a world-class number 9. Like, Arsenal aren't just the only ones. And these guys they don't just fall out of everywhere, you know? Like, I've gone from Kane to Richarlison. It's hard. It's hard.
Look,
those guys, it's tough when you watch.
So on that, I don't want Ivan Toney. I think he's great. I think he's premium. Fine. The player that I think we could get, and
is it a YouTube FC?
No, it's not YouTube FC.
So Solanke?
No, actually, no. You guys, Solanke's
DCL.
market's going to increase. It's DCL, and the reason why I wanted DCL is that he changes the dimension for Arsenal. Now you can cross the ball into the box in the air, and he can be a threat, right? My only issue is on the ball. Mikel might just vomit. But he's like, but to me, he's like a Vote Verkos type of signing, a type of guy who. No, but he's a young English. Well, he's not yet. Well, Vergus wasn't young, but he's just a guy to sit in the box. And when you here's my thing, right? You can start with Jesus, you can start with Havertz, but like 70 minutes in, and you need a goal. Throw in DCL. Be like, guys, bomb the box. That's another strategy. Instead of this whole pass. Let's pass around.
Jesus is not the guy. Jesus is 100%.
No. The thing for me, and the great thing about that is that then you can put Jesus to the right, and you can rest Saka, and then you can do different dimensions. But you like an Ivan Toney is the type of guy who can play link-up play. He's great, and he's the type of guy we want. So is Solanke, but Solanke's on form right now. They're not going to sell. Like, quite frankly, I think Chelsea might even buy him because he fits their age profile, right? And so I'm running away from all of that and going for an English striker who I think is better than Eddie Nketiah. I can even do a swap deal and send Nketiah to Everton because, quite frankly, Eddie's not giving me anything right now. So that's what I'm thinking, like a DCL, that type of vibe, right? But yeah.
What about my man Raul Jimenez? I think there's something there. I know he's old, but you need a striker now, right? You don't need a striker for the next 5 years. You need someone to give you a push now. It's cheap.
You know what I could do? So the other thing is, if I'd actually go get Mitrovic. If you want me to take Raul Jimenez, I'd rather go to Saudi and get Mitrovic for 6 months on a loan. I think that would be a better thing because for me, Raul Jimenez is that head injury. I'm just worried because the moment he has another head injury, I'm out of a striker.
Yeah. Whereas targeting him with headers,
but like and look, Fulham took the bought low. They took a chance. It's working. I just don't want to be, because to me, Raul Jimenez reminds me of Willian. Whereas a Solanke, you can speak up the upside because the Oak was at Everton and Everton doesn't know how to play football. The same thing with like a Solanke. Ivan Toney's obviously great, but I don't think we've got the money FFP wise to do it unless if we sell Party to Saudi Arabia in Jan for like 60 million.
Saudi Arabia sales are done now.
No, we've got two. Here's the thing, right? Mo Al Neni and Thomas Partey can fetch a very big price.
No, they can.
You can
They
get
100% can.
Yeah.
You know who's another wild card, complete wild card? But I just reminded him because he was on Twitter or XFC recently. Patrick Bamford.
Oh, I saw that shot. Patrick
Guys,
Bamford
scores
scored
one
better than
goal.
Adrian Ketia.
Now we
Man scores one goal, he's ready for Arsenal. But like,
No,
I mean,
he's
why
not.
not? Because
No.
the thing is, right, you're not going to start him every week. But in a game like the Liverpool game, where you just need someone in the 6-yard box or someone just to get on the end of the cross, he's your guy. You need someone tall.
Is he better than Nketiah?
Look, I like Edwin Ketia. I'm a little biased towards him.
I don't think he is.
But he's different though.
He is, but I'd rather go for somebody who is better than Nketiah so I can sell Nketiah if I need to. I don't want to be like, but because the issue with Mikel, he'll just pick Nketiah all the time and be like, this guy's not good enough. So that's my only worry with this team is that I need someone who's going to give them something different. I honestly would take Wout Weghorst. My only issue is that I think Arteta might not be, but doesn't think Wout is good enough. But yeah, it's a weird time for strikers in the Premier League. The striker market right now, because I could see Solanke moving in Jan. I could see DCL moving in Jan because Everton need money, and I could see Tony moving if Brailsford and INEOS are like, we want to make a big splash and a number 9 for the future, and he could be the number 9 for United. And it's and obviously Todd Bowley keeps on wanting to spend. I just don't understand.
I mean, Evan Ferguson would be ideal long term if blank check summer transfer, but
so you could do that now because he's not playing. He's the wild card here, right? He's not playing there. They're using João Pedro.
Yeah, they're not.
But it won't be high because my negotiation is the guy's not even starting for you guys. It's not starting for Brighton. But we're all putting money on upside, right?
But Brighton know Football Manager. Remember, that's how they scout. So they know his potential.
Value.
His potential is like what I think it's 4 gold stars and then that 1 grey one. So they know.
My only thing with this, well, sorry, Paul, but with this whole Arsenal dilemma that you guys are going through at the moment, and that's what I wanted to ask you. Like last year, we saw the sort of emergence of the Arsenal, because it was really last season rather, when you guys sort of came to the forefront, and it was more around this. The youth came in, and you guys got a lot of key sort of younger guys in these positions, like an Odegaard that came now for real, and Saka started playing, Martinelli came around. Got those kind of guys in and around the system, and Arteta made the system sort of bulletproof for them, and eventually got all the pieces of the puzzle together, and eventually the system worked. And we saw the system grow, and then eventually clicked, right? It's now feels like there's been 12 months of teams looking at the Arsenal system and formation, and you can't negate the fact that these guys have all got analysis, and they're all looking, and they're always looking for ways to neutralize your system. Right? And that's exactly what I feel has kind of happened with this Arsenal side, where it's been a combination of teams have figured out the Arsenal formation and system of how to neutralize it. Like, Martinelli's going to cut in. Like, Saka's going to cut in. And that combined with the fact of a Saka losing a little bit of confidence in front of goal and not being able to be the sort of Saka that we know. I mean, you look at that game against Liverpool on Sunday, and it looked like he had a heart attack every single time the ball came to him because he just didn't know what to do with his feet. Like, he just looked so out of place. Martinelli's not starting, so you've got on Sunday, so Nketiah's starting on the left-hand side. So it looks like it's kind of a amalgamation of the sort of bad things that are happening, where people are figuring out this Arsenal system, and you've got players losing confidence. And it's like, what is the solution then? Do you go and try and get a whole new system, kind of do a Pep where you used to invert defenders, now you play with 4 centre-backs, now you do something different? Or is Arteta still not, and I'm not trying to point fingers, but is Arteta that far developed as a coach to be able to do something like that and change the system with the players he's got and try and do something new? Or is it a case of, well, if this is now the system and it's not working, at what point does Arsenal fans start saying he's not the guy? We've spent the money, we've spent the cash, players aren't performing or aren't playing as well, formation's a bit old. And I'm not, obviously it's 3 games. I'm not saying Arteta out now, but it's kind of,
there's a lot of us.
It could sort of very easily spiral into a situation where come the end of the season, you guys finish maybe 5th. You're kind of going, well, is Arteta that guy? You know?
Look, it can. And it can get there. But my thing is, I think at the start of the season, Arteta did tweak the system a little bit, right? We are more possession-based. We're a lot more solid at the back. Obviously, the last 3 games doesn't show that because we can't score goals and we keep on conceding. I think David Raya is currently at a point where he's finally settled in the side. And the errors now that are happening in the last 3 games are not his, but they're defenders. Zinchenko doing something dumb, Gabriel out of position, Declan Rice not chasing people, and that type of vibe. So I think he's gotten everything right. And my only thing is we are creating chances. It's not a situation where we're sitting there going, oh, they're not getting in the box. They're getting touches in that West Ham game, 70 touches in the box, and you still lose the game. That for me is something around what they do in the final third, and that speaks to your point of teams defensively now know how to handle Arsenal because they sit deep. And one of the key issues about inverting, and the inversion gives you the possession. When you lose possession, because your fullbacks have inverted, you can get the ball back quicker because they're right there. It's the whole 5-second drill with that Pep does. Whenever City lose the ball, they get it back within 5 seconds and they're done. And then they take over. That's what Arteta's trying to do. The other way to beat it is to have your fullbacks overlap. So the issue for me is Ben White. There's 2 issues. It's Ben White and it's Kai Havertz. And it's not Kai scoring, but it's Ben White somehow has lost confidence in overlapping Saka. Last year, we got a lot of joy with Ben. Ben White was such an FPL asset, guys. Oh, my word. He would give you assists. He would give you key passes. He would help Saka get out of trouble. Now, Saka's lost an option because Ben White is sitting deep. So the only pass that Saka has on the right, is to Odegaard inside. That has been easily marshaled by other teams. Which then, my other question is, can Saka go past defenders? He can go past one, but he's always doubled. That's my only issue. So
and that's exactly what every team is going to do.
And he'll probably get fouled, right? So
oh my word, Arsenal, please stop crying, stop whinging. Oh my word. So that's the one side on the right. On the left, because it's Kai Havertz and it's not Xhaka. Xhaka would always like playing in a triangle with him, Zinchenko, and Gabriel Martinelli. And it would work out well because you could work out the right side of the defense, unleash Martinelli on the byline. He could be able to cut inside, across the ball across. Kai Havertz doesn't want to make runs outside. So he doesn't want to ever be the most left-sided player in the team, which is the issue that we have. He's making wonderful runs in the box, but he's not supporting Martinelli as much as Martinelli wants. So Martinelli now also has lost an option. He's got Zinchenko, but he no longer has that option to pass the ball inside. Yeah. Whenever Martinelli gets the ball, he looks back. And so that's my one fundamental issue is, can you teach Kai Havertz to try and play like a left-sided winger? Because there were times where Xhaka would be the left-sided winger, Martinelli would be inside, you had Odegaard in the middle, and you had Jesus in front of them, and you had Saka on the right, and you could then attack guys. But what Havertz is being told is he needs to run into the box beyond Jesus, which means that Jesus needs to go help out on the left. He hasn't been doing that, and that's why Martinelli looks like he's off form. That's my little 2 cents with what's going on with Arsenal. You can change the system. And the one idea was bring back Kieran Tierney, right? Yeah. Bring him back and play a traditional back 4 with overlapping fullbacks. If you can get Onana, you have Rice and Onana, Gabriel and Saliba in the middle as your middle 4. You have overlapping fullbacks, and then you play from there. And Odegaard's going to have to then play without a second 8, which is great. You're going to play the 10,
Well, he
and
just
you have
plays
3
that
guys
free
in
roaming.
front, and then
Yeah.
you've got
Yeah,
your wing backs in and around, and then you do that. The only issue is we need
Who's
Tierney
gonna
back
score?
for that because Tomiyasu's at Asia Cup, and Urian Timber's on his way back, but I think he'll only be back in March. So yeah, so for me, you can do that, and Arteta can do that. It's just my only worry is, does he want to? Because he's looking at Arsenal playing, going, these guys are creating chances. They'll score. And I think the Athletic, like yesterday when they were speaking about this thing, they said Pep used to, or Henri said on Sky one time that Pep always taught everyone how to play up until you got to the box. In the box, he wanted natural instinct to take over. My only question to Mikel would be, if I am Josh Krunker, is what do you tell them when they're in the box, when they get to the box? Because it looks to us that you're telling them to look for the extra pass, that there's always an extra pass in the box.
Yeah.
But this is the Premier League. There's like 7 people in the box. There's no extra pass. It's either you take a shot and you hope someone like Nketiah can clean it up. And
But then, but that comes into play. I mean, and I don't want to jump in here, but you look for the extra pass when you are not confident. And none of that front 4 at Arsenal look confident. But they are all looking for, I don't want this. I don't want the ball now.
But like, here's my thing. I don't want to. These guys are strikers. These guys are forwards. They've got that natural instinct, right? So, and that was my issue with, and we go back to the Ozil and the Aubameyang issue and the Pepe, Lacazette to a certain extent, because Lacazette was on the downside of his career. But Pepe in the side, if Pepe was on the bench for Arsenal, we'd be scoring a lot of goals because he'd be scoring a lot of goals on the bench, because all Nicolas Pepe does is gets the ball, take on defenders, and shoots on sight. Aubameyang plays with instinct. He did that. Ozil does that. But the only problem is that that's not how Mikel wants to play, because it's very loose. And those guys don't necessarily listen to his instructions, whereas he always wants to orchestrate and be in control of the game, which is what you're seeing this season. This season is a sense of how he wants to play his football. He wants to play his football just like how Barcelona played their football. Everything is under control. You don't allow the a lot of time on the ball, and you've got a front 4 that's quick enough and pacey enough and has a little, and this is the difference. There's no magic. There's magic. Saka last year gave us the magic. He's our form. Martinelli used to give us a little bit of magic. He's not able to do that because he doesn't have the resources around him to do. And to a certain extent, a guy like Trossard makes sense to me as a substitute in the 60th minute, because Trossard doesn't care. Trossard has that little bit of magic where he can come on, get on the ball, and find the top corner. That's what's missing. And even with, or the only person I think has a confidence issue right now is Odegaard and maybe Saka. Because I think Martin Odegaard has been in spots where he can shoot, but he chooses not to. He uses the extra pass, largely because the coach wants you to play that way. And because the other problem about giving away, you don't want to give away possession cheaply with a stupid shot. That's what Mikel's trying to run away from. It has to be like a 0.75% XG or 0.5 above XG for you to be able to take the shot. You're not going to take a shot on a 0.2 XG shot
side to side if it's not,
and that's that I think is maybe where he's trying to go to be like, yeah, we can be XGFC and we're creating high XG chances. We're just not putting them away. And if Mikel still continues like this, they'll give him one more season. If not, I think the Crinkers will move on, because they've invested so much money right now. And this team, under a different manager, which manager would get this team humming?
I don't know but that's the thing. Like, you can kind of see if it doesn't, and like I said, it's only been 3 games, but if the confidence and the natural flair in these players don't come out, and then you do start looking at a Zinchenko on the left, where quite honestly, you just tell anyone to run at Zinchenko and you'll probably get some success on that sort of right flank of the attacking team. Like, he's the weak link. And then also Ben White now playing the way he has been on the other side. Like, there are then defensive frailties, and exactly what we saw. Like, Liverpool should have lost that game in the first half. 100%. Yes. You should have been out of sight. Within the first 20 minutes, you should have been out of sight. But it takes 45 minutes of not taking your chances for a top side to be like, cool, it's our time now. Grab a goal, a sneaky other one, and boom, done.
But
Oh,
what I
yeah.
do think is that they've been unlucky. But I do think when they get that first goal, the only issue I have is they've got 10 days away. Is it going to be 10 days of, when are we going to score our next goal? Or is it going to be 10 days of, let's relax, let's enjoy our time in Dubai, and maybe recharge, refresh, and maybe change? But that's the mark of a great manager. If Arsenal can go from here to finishing second or even contending against Manchester City, because we believe Man City is going to go on a run, I think then Arteta is the manager for this team. But the question obviously for me, if we stay at 3, if we finish the season at 3, we need to have a serious conversation.
You need to ask questions. You have to ask questions.
Yeah.
But even now, this season, it's the congestion, like you're saying. Like now, it's Champions League. Okay, FA Cup's no longer, but it's Champions League and Premier League. Where last year didn't have that.
And my thing is that he's not trying other players like Emil Smith Rowe. I don't know what Emil Smith Rowe did. I don't know what I see. He started Reece Nelson against Liverpool. I'd have started him very earlier in the season. The other question obviously is, just Trossard, right? Give him
looking like he's looking like he's back at Brighton though.
Yes, but it's the lack of game time, right? Yeah. And being out of the FA Cup really hurts. The only place where we can try new things is the Champions League, but you don't want to be doing that because that's where the business end, right? So he's running out of options, and I'm hoping that this 10 days of them being away, this week of them being away, gets them to reset, remind themselves of how great they actually can be. Because Starboy can be Starboy, and he's been Starboy this season. He's actually been the reason why we're where we are, because no one else is scoring goals.
Just don't foul him too much. He gets sad.
I hate the fact that this club why? and that's the problem with Mikel. He's creating this little.
But that's the other thing. And I know, sorry, AB, you haven't said anything for like 10 minutes, but like
it's okay. London.
Don't you think things like that also just show a little bit of insights into the club of being like, oh, but you guys are mean to our players? You know, like it's not the mentality you want. Like,
yes,
and that's why. But here's the Watson isn't coming out to the PGMOL being like, guys, Jordan Ayew's been fouled the most. Please, can you stop?
So here's the thing for me. Here's the thing for me. Our defenders are probably are as hardened as I think we've ever seen them. I think this is the best backline.
You know it.
Yes, I think this is the strongest backline we have. If you include Yuri and Timber, who was supposed to play on the left, probably going back to that Invincibles season or just after.
It's incredible. Saliba's world class.
And then you've got Declan Rice, who is no nonsense. But then there's these little flowers in the front. These little whereas like I'm like sitting there going, who would work in this team? Who would work in this team? No, not Harry Kane would, but Olivier Giroud would have worked in this team.
Yeah, that's good.
He would have been such an incredible striker.
And man is tearing it up in the Serie A right now.
Yeah, maybe we can get him back. Who knows?
He solves all your problems right there, Olivier.
Yeah, but
he can hit, he can hold up, he's physical, he's pretty.
Yeah, and you just want a striker who can. Like someone was even saying Diego Costa, and I'm sitting there going, I don't want to go back there. He's hurt me too many times, but it's not a bad shout.
He's a killer. He is a killer, but like on and off the field.
That's why get me Mitrovic, Eastern European, can do the thing. Hard man. Hard man.
You just want someone that's going to fight these oaks on the training ground so that they get a bit harder, and then they can go out and do something.
They need it. This Arsenal team is soft up to a point.
That's what Xhaka was, and I think that's what they've also lost. Xhaka leaving. Xhaka was the guy, like red card man, all the time, fighting with it. So you need someone like who can come in, and Ivan Toney would work. The only problem is now he's going to have to be in his best behavior.
Yeah. He's not going to like. The thing is with Tony is like for him it's an upgrade, right? I don't think you need that. You need someone to come down and be like, "What are you guys doing?" You need to harden up. I like Giroud. You need like a Duncan Ferguson sort of person in there to just light a fire,
to stir things up, shake things up, and But anyway, enough about Arsenal. Enough about everything else. We've got a weird game week coming up. It spans over 2 weeks.
Very weird.
So,
I've never seen this
so-
before. Like
oh, look.
games on the
Yeah.
one weekend, and then fine, you do the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever. But like weekend to weekend, very weird.
And it
Yeah,
says, I'm just checking now, it is Friday till not the other Monday, but the next Monday.
The next Monday, how it's
Yo,
weird.
guys.
Yes. Yeah, so it's going to be a lot. So Burnley play Luton up front, and we finish with Brighton and Wolves the following Monday. There's games between next week, not even. Oh, yeah, Manchester United play Tottenham this weekend. So good luck to the two of you on Sunday.
Timo Werner's going to score the winner. My boy
Ooh.
Timo Werner's going to score the winner. I'm telling you now. It's going to come on and he's going to score.
Has Timo been signed?
He's having his medical. He had part 1 yesterday. His flight was the most tracked flight yesterday, obviously. And I think he'll be announced by the
Are
end
you
of the
happy with
year.
Timo Werner? Do you think he can?
I'll tell you why I think it is risk-free. We've got 6 months, right, where our front line is already lacking because Sun's in Asia Cup. We've got Ivan Perisic injured, Solomon's injured, Richarlison's there, so he's fine. Johnson's there, so that's fine. Kulusevski's probably going to move into a number 8 role. So we need someone up front that offers something a little bit different. He's risk-free because it's a 6-month loan. If we like him, we've got the option for 17 million euros, which is nothing for the likes of a Timo Werner. And we paying, and I know everyone's going to talk about the 200k a week that we're paying full coverage of, but we were paying Lloris 100 to do nothing. He was literally
it's cheaper than half of United's squad anyway.
So that's why wages, we get rid of Lloris. Hopefully we get rid of Dyer, and we've covered the Werner costs already, and we've only gained. So if it works, it will be fantastic, and if it doesn't work, we can say, you know what, I appreciate it, but thanks, no thanks. And for me, the big thing is Ange did his normal. Apparently, phoned him. Guy was very keen, very excited, and if Ange wants him, I want him, bro. So
and just characters.
That's all I want.
You see, AB, you need to do things like this.
Yeah,
you need to get cats.
We need an Aussie manager first of all. Like, can we? Like, the thing is, when we look for players, we literally go Eredivisie, top, whatever, and then we go there. That's on Google search. And
look. How are you feeling for the game, AB? Are you?
I didn't even know we were playing. I didn't even know we were playing. Okay, I didn't know we were playing.
And it's Old Trafford as well.
Oh goodness! Oh, we're gonna lose. We're gonna lose.
No, and this is Anana's last game. Yeah.
Before he literally flies. He flies.
Guys, how bad does Altay Bayindir needs to be for this to happen? Poor guy.
Yeah, poor guy. Okay, guys, let's end it there. Thank you very much for joining. And remember, guys, the show is sponsored by Classic Shirts, so please go check them out at Classic Shirts ZA. Outside of that, please do follow us subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter. All our handles there. AB doesn't want to be followed by anyone, so which is great. But
AB's just AB. If you follow him on X, just search AB. Just click that guy.
You'll find him. Yes. Outside of that. Yes, outside of that, enjoy the weekend's games. We'll be back next week to dissect United versus Tottenham and what other new story comes out of United, because is this the game that gets Erik ten Hag fired? Who knows? We'll find out next week. Please do join us then. Outside of that, goodbye and le sale kakagiso.